Well, good afternoon, YouTubers, all you aviation enthusiasts. This is G36TN pilot. Got my older son here with me. We're heading out to Kansas. I'm going to take him to Independence, Kansas this morning. That's my older son, Josh. He plays college basketball up in MNU in Kansas City. But we're headed to Independence, Kansas this morning. He's going to go spend Christmas afternoon with his girlfriend and their family up there. So join us for the video. Enjoy. Well, we've rotated out of Rogers, Arkansas, headed on a course to Independence, Kansas. Took off on runway 20 out of Arkansas and Rogers today, and we had a nice little headwind there, about 8 to 9 knots. Nothing big. Kind of nice to be able to take off something going straight down the runway. Rogers is 2002. We took off on 20 this morning, and basically took a turn to the right and went west, and now we climbed up. We're cruising at about 6,500 feet today. You can see this view here just off the left wing, and you got a pretty good view of the prop to the tail, which is a great view. I love this view on this aircraft. Kind of neat to see. But cruising along, we saw about 178, 179 knots this morning heading this direction. You can see my son, he's a little tired already. He likes to fall asleep pretty fast. This was actually his first time to fly in the front seat of this aircraft. He'd never flown in the front seat of this Bonanza before. We've had this aircraft since about September of this year, and As of this afternoon, I put my 105th hour on it already, so I already got 105 hours since September, which is pretty nice. Still getting used to it. I used to fly a Columbia 300, and that 300 was an amazing, fast Ferrari of an aircraft. But when your older son is 6'4" and your younger son is over 6 foot and playing basketball, and they just didn't fit in that Columbia anymore, so we had to make some changes. So my wife convinced me to change, and we sure did. So we're flying here 6,500 feet going west. It's a beautiful flight, beautiful day. Enjoyed the weather today. We just got back from Kissimmee, Orlando area. We flew down there just before Christmas and had a great flight. We took off out of Rogers and flew to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And Tuscaloosa has a great airport there. It's got a couple of runways going two different directions, which is nice, with great fuel prices. I met a great individual there. One of the line crew helped me out tremendously, and he's one of our new subscribers, and we want to give him a shout out and say thanks for all the great help he gave us. But flew from Tuscaloosa straight to Kissimmee. It was about a 4 hour and 20 minute flight going east. Catching those winds going east is quite nice. I don't think anybody doesn't enjoy a nice tailwind. And boy, it was a smooth flight down there. I think we flew down there on the 18th, if I recall correctly, and met some family down there. And we had a family rental home that we rented, and just had a ball. Got to go to the Disney park one day and Orlando parks the next day. And of course, they were all COVID protected, and everybody wore masks, which was great. Spent a few days there, and we came back on the 23rd, Wednesday. Now, that was an interesting day, I'll have to say. We flew out of Kissimmee straight to Tuscaloosa. Now, of course, we're flying into the wind now since we're going west, which slowed us down tremendously. It was a 2 hour flight going east. It was 3 hours and 10 minutes going west from Kissimmee to Tuscaloosa. We had about a 30 to a 39 knot headwind the whole way. Landed in Tuscaloosa, refueled, and looking at the weather this last Wednesday, we had to make a pretty tough decision. We had some icing conditions along our track, our path. This Bonanza, although a great turbo-normalized aircraft, can fly very high, very, very fast. It does not have any anti-icing conditions at all. The second problem was that cold front that dropped down from the northwest absolutely blasted the Arkansas area with wind. And Rogers Runway, my home airport, has a 2002 runway, and it was blowing straight 290, 30 plus knots that day in Wednesday afternoon. So not only did I have icing that I probably could have climbed above at about 13 to 15,000, I would have had to descend down through some clouds, which would have been a problem because of the icing. But then I just couldn't have managed a 30 knot crosswind with this aircraft. It's not possible. 17 knots is the max crosswind. So we ended up spending the night in Tuscaloosa, found a Fairfield Inn, Outback Steakhouse, spent some time relaxing, and got up the next morning and come home. The problem the next morning was the winds in Tuscaloosa were picking up. The winds in Rogers were still high. Now, the winds in Rogers weren't going to go down until after 5 p.m., so I kind of had to wait to get out of Tuscaloosa. The problem in Tuscaloosa was there was a huge storm overnight, and it prevented me from leaving early. So I was in a catch-22. We ended up taking off at 2:30 in the afternoon from Tuscaloosa. Flew only at 4,500 feet all the way because of icing conditions and clouds. I'm IFR rated, but that makes no difference when it has to do with icing. And we did go through some icing conditions a few times, which wasn't a whole lot of fun, but we have prop heat and we have pitot heat on. Navigated our way around those things, and we eventually got to Rogers at about 5:45 in the evening, and it was absolutely beautiful. So here we are coming into Independence, Kansas, and about to start our approach. All right, as you can see, we're letting Otto fly us here. A good buddy of mine, J.D. Williams from Fast Mover Aviation. I want to give a shout out to him. He's the one that told me about Otto, which is the autopilot, or Otto. You may remember Otto, O-T-T-O, from the Disney movie. Oh, what the heck's the name of the movie with the little robot cube thing? Anyway, Otto was what drove the big starship. Pretty amazing. Here's a view out of the back of our Bonanza. You can see it's a 2007 beautiful Bonanza, but it's got the nice cushiony seats. We've taken one out, that 6th seat in the back, primarily for ease of access into the aircraft and for storage. This aircraft has an amazing G1000 NXI system that we had installed, and the amazing autopilot GFC 700 flies this thing like an absolute rail. Beautiful day in Kansas. You can see just gorgeous weather, no bumps, clear as a bell, and nice and smooth. We sure had a good flight in, and it was good to be able to get my son Josh up there so he can spend the day with his girlfriend. He wasn't able to do that because that trip I was talking to you about from coming back from Orlando, we didn't have much luck getting home on the day he was supposed to get home and celebrate Christmas with his girlfriend. And you may recognize his girlfriend, Callie. She flew with me up to Kansas City a while back on a couple videos ago, and helped navigate our way up there to go see Josh when it was still he was still in school up there. So kind of neat to be able to do that. But Otto's flying us here. We ended up flying an RNAV 17 approach into Kansas under VFR conditions, of course. I wanted to be able to do that just to keep sharp on some of those skills. And thankfully, Kansas City Approach obliged and really did a good job with us, and we thank them for that. So beautiful scenery, beautiful rivers, beautiful lakes, and we're on the approach. All right, you can see we're making our first coordinated turn into Kansas here. We're flying the RNAV 17 approach under VFR conditions, and the GFI 700 just flies that thing unbelievably well. The NXI system is great. I really enjoy using it. But very intuitive. But one of the best things about it is you got the Bluetooth connection through your iPad. So if you make any changes, you can do it pretty quick on the fly. Send it to the panel, and it'll update pretty quick. A little bit of a crosswind. We had about 25, 26 knot crosswind coming from the, I think it was coming from the west today. And so crabbing into the wind here just a little bit as we make our transition into that area. But smooth as can be, beautiful day, beautiful weather. I want to give a shout out to Martin Polly. He helped me out the other day, gave me some tips on how to get a view of that iPad so you can see your flight plan. So here in the next coming videos, I'm going to get that figured out, and you can see the iPad as I'm following the approaches into the airport we're going to. So we're just going through a checklist here, getting gear down, flaps down, everything ready to go, and set for our approach. Here's a good view of the NXI system, and you can see our approach is built into the panel there. On the right side on the MFD, the PFD has the synthetic vision system. You can see those boxes going across, the little magenta boxes that we're following in, which is a great tool. I certainly appreciate having that. But got a Cirrus Stratus device up there that we use as a backup that ties to my iPad there that you can see on the yoke. So in case all else fails, of course we got MFD and PDF that would have to fail. Then we got two systems on the right, which are the old gyroscope controls. But those things failed as well. I've got a Stratus connected to my iPad, and I can certainly have some guidance there as a last second choice. Here we are, direct on the approach into the 17 RNAV, flying in from the north. I've taught my son quite a bit about this trip. This is his first time, so we're going to go gear down now. This was his first time flying in that right seat up front and seeing everything out the front. He's 6'4", so he usually sits in the back and lays back and reclines. One of the amazing things about the Bonanza is the sturdiness of that gear. It drops down in about 3 seconds, and boy, you just got a pair of really heavy mains right there, really sturdy heavy mains. It's my understanding it's the same system that's in the Bonanza Twin 55, and boy, that's a heavy aircraft as well. But certainly enjoy that ruggedness. But even with the gear down, flaps are set to approach, you can still see how smooth it is coming in. The GFC 700 autopilot just flies it absolutely phenomenally. Certainly enjoy it. So we usually go gear down, flap down when we hit minimums. So I usually pre-program our minimums in there, and that's the point where we do that. As it follows the glide slope down, there's a great view of the lake off the right there. Not sure what lake that is. Maybe some of you know. Just outside of Independence, Kansas. If you do know, drop a comment down below. Let us know what it is, and we'd like to know. I'm kind of curious. But you can see some white areas in the middle of that lake. Those are all birds of some sort. I mean, there were over 1,000 it looked like down there. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we're flying the approach down now, getting closer to the airport. You can see, I think Cessna has a plant there. None of that was open today. It's obviously December 26th today. So I kind of wanted to see some of that stuff, but none of it was open today. And I think there's a good equipment shop there as well that you can buy accessories for aircraft. But none of that was open, so we didn't get to do any of that, but that's okay. No big deal, I suppose. Well, I hope you've enjoyed flying with me today. I certainly enjoy producing these videos, and I hope it helps some of you. I really do. Watching these videos has helped me tremendously as a pilot, and I've learned quite a few things that you can learn to practice on. So I want to encourage everybody to get out there and fly safe, fly defensively. Obviously, you need to be able to do that. But get out in your aviation community, get involved in your local FBOs, get involved with local groups, and let's get that community going a little bit stronger than it already is. We have a great group back at Rogers that gets together about once a month or so, and we enjoy each other's company. So if you like these videos, please do me a favor. The best thing you can do is click and subscribe. When you see that link pop up, click that subscribe button for me, and then you see that little bell. If you'll click that, it'll alert you to the new videos. I hope you all had a blessed Christmas, and I hope everybody has a happy New Year, and we'll see you again. G36TN Pilot. Thanks for watching.